So many of you I know are already watching or maybe even involved in all these huge shifts, Industry 4.0, digital transformation. But have you really thought about how all that tech, the AI, big data, IoT, how is changing something really fundamental, like quality? I mean, not just tweaking things, but totally reinventing what excellence even means. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something called Quality 4.0. Now, I know it sounds maybe a bit technical, maybe just for engineers, but honestly, this is a huge shift. It's quietly changing how pretty much everything gets designed, made, delivered, perfected in this digital world we're in. It really is about building a better future, whether that's the product you buy, the service you use, even your healthcare.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here, I think, is that Quality 4.0, it isn't just, slapping new tools onto old ways of doing things. It's genuinely the next big step, the next evolution in quality management. It takes all those timeless principles, the really solid foundations, Deming, Duran, those robust ISO systems we've relied on for ages, and it basically supercharges them, merges that deep knowledge with all this cutting edge digital tech, and what comes out is something, well, way more powerful, more predictive, and yeah, ultimately more reliable.
And that's exactly what we want to unpack for you today. The goal here is to get past the buzzwords, really explore how Quality 4.0 is different, fundamentally different, from that traditional quality control maybe we grew up with. We want to show you some really compelling, real-world examples, how it's actually working, and explain why getting a handle on this shift is frankly crucial for anyone navigating this digital world. Because, at the end of the day, this is about better stuff for you, better products, better services, better experiences. Okay, right, let's get into it. So Quality 4.0, you hear that term, maybe people think, okay, just quality, but, with more computers involved. What's the biggest misunderstanding you run into? What's the core thing we really need to grasp right at the start?
That's a really good question because, yeah, it's way more than just adding a digital layer on top. I think the biggest misconception is seeing it as just an optional upgrade, like, oh, that's nice to have. But actually, Quality 4.0 is a complete rethinking, a re-architecture of quality management itself, specifically for this Industry 4.0 era. It's realizing that, look, in a world swimming in AI, big data, constant connectivity, those older, often reactive quality methods, they just don't cut it anymore. It's about how these digital tools, the massive data flows, the hyperconnectivity, how they completely reshape how organizations guarantee quality across everything, processes, products, services. It's not an add-on. It's
Just
fundamental.
foundational transformation. Okay.
Exactly. And importantly, it's not about throwing out everything that worked before. That's key. What makes it so disruptive, so powerful, is how it blends, intelligently blends those proven quality principles, lean thinking, continuous improvement cycles, all that good stuff. With these new emerging technologies, we're talking AI that learns, big data analytics, finding hidden patterns, IoT sensors everywhere, advanced automation, even things like blockchain for secure records. It's this really potent, smart fusion.
That fusion. Yeah, that sounds incredibly powerful. So it's less quality with tech and maybe more like quality enabled by tech or quality driven by tech. Does that make sense?
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
Okay. What I find really interesting here is that, like you said, it's not just one single thing. It seems to have several defining features, characteristics that make it stand out. Shall we walk through those, maybe like the 5 core characteristics that make it so different, almost like quality superpowers?
Yeah, let's do that. That's a good way to break it down.
Okay, first up, digital integration. What does that really mean in practice, like day to day? How does quality management change?
Right. Digital integration means quality isn't just this separate department anymore, the people at the end of the line checking things. Instead, it's deeply embedded. It's woven right into the fabric of everything, the digital systems, the production lines, the entire supply chain. And the crucial part, it's happening in real time.
Ah, okay.
So imagine quality as this intelligent thread running through every single stage right from the start, not just a final check. It's proactive from the word go, not reactive after the fact. That seamless real-time embedding, that's a massive shift from the old siloed way.
Right. No more waiting till the end and finding a problem.
Exactly.
So if quality is embedded everywhere, that must generate a ton of data, right? A flood of information. And that data isn't just sitting there collecting dust, I assume. It must be driving the second feature, data-driven quality. How does that change the game for ensuring excellence? And what's maybe the biggest challenge companies hit when they try to make that leap?
This is where you really see that shift from looking backwards to looking forwards, from hindsight to foresight. Traditional quality, often relies on those retrospective audits, looking back at what went wrong. Data-driven quality flips that. It moves from that historical view to something much more powerful: prediction, predictive capabilities. Using advanced analytics, clever predictive models, AI organizations can now spot potential risks, potential failures, before they actually happen.
Before.
Yeah, before. So instead of just reacting to defects after they're made, they can prevent them, often way ahead of time. The biggest hurdle, often it's actually cultural. It's shifting the organization's mindset from let's fix what broke to let's stop it from ever breaking. That needs different skill, maybe trusting algorithms more. But the real insight here, it fundamentally changes the cost equation. You're not paying for the expensive fixes, the rework, the recalls. You're investing in prevention so effectively that honestly the cost of not doing this becomes way higher than the cost of investing in it.
That reframing of the cost.
Yeah, that's huge. Prevention pays.
Wow.
Okay. And speaking of all this data flowing around in the integration, the third feature you mentioned is connectivity and transparency. Now, that sounds like it could get super complicated to manage all those connections. What's the payoff? What does it unlock?
Well, that complexity is exactly what things like IoT sensors, cloud platforms, and even blockchain are built to handle. These technologies give us unprecedented traceability, real-time monitoring, and crucially, this kind of immutable accountability right across the entire value chain.
The whole chain, from start to finish.
Pretty much. Think about tracking a product from its raw materials, literally every step of manufacturing, shipping, all the way until it gets to you, the consumer. You can know exactly where it's been, how it was handled. That level of transparency builds enormous trust. It ensures quality consistently. What it really unlocks is this potential for a truly global connected system where everyone involved has access to verified information. That creates a whole new level of integrity in supply chains. That's amazing, especially for complex stuff like food or medicine. Okay, now the fourth one, augmented human decision-making. This sounds really important because it suggests technology isn't just taking over. It's not about replacing people.
No, absolutely not. And that's a really critical point to understand. Quality 4.0 isn't trying to make human expertise obsolete. Quite the opposite, actually. Technology here enhances our ability, leaders, employees, to make faster, smarter quality decisions. It feeds them better data, sharper insights, those predictive warnings we talked about. It frees up their mental energy, so they can focus on the really complex problems, the strategic thinking, using their unique human intuition and experience where it matters most.
So it's like giving people analytical superpowers.
Exactly. That's a great way to think about it. You might assume more tech means fewer jobs, right? But the interesting thing is, Quality 4.0 often creates demand for completely new roles. You need data scientists who specialize in quality, maybe AI ethicists thinking about how these systems are designed fairly. It transforms the workforce. It doesn't just shrink it. It empowers people.
Empowering, not replacing. I like that. Okay, and the fifth core feature, customer-centric and value-focused. This feels like it brings everything back home, back to us, the end users.
Precisely. Because in Quality 4.0, the whole definition of quality gets bigger, it expands, it's measured way beyond just did we reduce defects or did it meet the spec sheet?
Yeah.
Now, the real focus is squarely on the total customer experience, the ability to personalize things, the overall value you deliver to you, the person using the product or service.
So it's about delighting customers, not just ticking boxes.
Exactly. It's moving beyond just satisfying the basic requirements. And the really neat insight here is that Quality 4.0 lets companies move from just meeting your expectations to actually shaping them, raising the bar for everyone. If you connect all 5 of these features together, the integration, the data, connectivity, augmented humans, and this customer focus, you see how they build this really robust, forward-looking system. It's deeply connected to what customers actually need, and it's built for continuous proactive improvement. It really does redefine excellence.
That's a fantastic overview of those features.
Yeah.
It really does paint a picture of something fundamentally different, which makes me think, how different is this really from the sort of traditional quality management that lots of organizations maybe are still using today? What are the main distinctions that you, listening now, should really be aware of as this shift happens?
Yeah, it's definitely more than just an upgrade. It's a whole different philosophy. If you look back at traditional quality think TQM, the ISO era, the main goal was usually compliance, meeting standards, reducing defects.
Right, getting the certificate on the wall.
Kinda, yeah. And quality was often checked using manual inspections, audits after the fact, lots of paper-based processes, often stuck in its own quality department silo, and problem solving. It tended to be reactive.
Right.
You found a problem, then you fixed it.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
Now, contrast that with Quality 4.0. The focus is completely different. It's on creating value, enhancing the customer's experience. The methods are real-time data analysis, predictive analytics, stopping problems before they even start.
Proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. Processes are digital, they're automated, maybe using blockchain for that transparency we talked about. Problem solving becomes proactive prevention. And critically, quality isn't isolated anymore. It's integrated right across the digital enterprise, woven into everything. The whole mindset shifts from policing quality to enabling it, from being a cost center to being a strategic advantage.
Wow. That shift from reactive to proactive, isolated to integrated, policing to enabling. Yeah, that sounds like a complete transformation, not just an update. That mindset change alone must be a huge hurdle for some companies. Okay, so that's the theory, the framework. The differences are pretty stark, but let's make it really concrete. Can you give us some specific examples? Where is Quality 4.0 actually making a difference in industries and ultimately for us?
Oh, absolutely. It's already happening in so many places. Take healthcare, for example, a really critical area. Quality 4.0 shows up as AI systems that can spot potential medical errors much earlier than maybe a human could, just by analyzing patterns in patient data or treatments.
That sounds incredibly important.
It is. Or think about real-time monitoring of infection control in hospitals. Using sensors, smart analytics. It directly boosts patient safety, catching things proactively. That's a huge peace of mind.
Yeah, definitely. What about manufacturing? That often seems to be where these things start.
Right. In manufacturing, you see IoT sensors all over production lines now. Tiny sensors constantly checking temperature, pressure, vibration, you name it. They detect tiny anomalies in machines, subtle shifts, in real time. This lets them fix the issue immediately, preventing a whole bad batch from ever being made.
Okay. So fewer faulty products making it out the door.
Exactly. Higher quality, more reliable products for you, the consumer, fewer recalls, more consistency. It's a win-win.
Okay, healthcare, manufacturing.
Yeah.
Any others?
Yeah, look at pharma and aesthetics.
Yeah.
Industries where trust and safety are absolutely non-negotiable. They're using blockchain technology for tracing drugs, validating authenticity.
So you know the medicine is real.
Precisely. When you get that medication, or maybe a cosmetic product, you have much higher certainty. It's genuine, it hasn't been tampered with. Its whole journey, from the factory to the pharmacy or the store counter, is transparent and verifiable. That gives you incredible confidence in sensitive products, real clarity on where it came from.
That's critical. Okay, one more maybe, something really relatable.
Sure. How about customer experience? This might be the one people interact with most directly. Companies are now using voice of the customer analytics. They use AI sentiment analysis to really understand feedback in real time. It's not just reading surveys anymore. It's analyzing chats, social media comments, call center interactions.
See how people really feel.
Exactly. And they can adapt products or services super quickly based on genuine customer needs and feelings, sometimes even before a big trend hits. The relevance for you, it leads to more personalized experiences, more satisfying interactions, companies that are more responsive to what you actually want.
Those are great examples. They really show how this tech translates into real-world improvements that affect our daily lives. So let's pull it all together. What does this all mean for you listening? Whether you're running a business, buying products, getting healthcare, just living in this world, why is Quality 4.0 more than just cool tech? Why is it this critical strategic thing we need to pay attention to?
It's so important to see it as strategic, yeah? Not just a set of tools. For organizations that really embrace Quality 4.0, the benefits are massive. We're talking improved efficiency, better safety across their operations, often dramatically better. They can meet regulatory compliance rules much more effectively, more transparently. That's huge in today's world.
Right, the scrutiny is intense.
It is. And in sectors like healthcare, it directly leads to happier patients, better outcomes, more trust. But ultimately, for any business, adopting Quality 4.0 is about survival and growth. It's about getting a vital competitive edge in these really demanding global markets. Honestly, the cost of not adopting these capabilities, the cost of missed defects, the recalls, losing customer trust, the inefficiencies, it just becomes unsustainable pretty quickly. Which kind of leads to a fundamental question, doesn't it? In a world overflowing with data where everyone expects seamless, top-notch experiences, how can any organization afford not to use these tools to deliver superior quality and value to you? It's becoming less of a choice and more of a necessity.
That's a really powerful point. A necessity, not an option. It really highlights the significance of everything we've talked about today. We've gone from defining Quality 4.0, this next evolution of excellence, through its 5 core features. That digital integration, the data-driven insights, connectivity, augmented human decisions, and the intense customer focus. We've seen how it flips the script from traditional reactive quality
to something proactive, integrated, predictive. And those real-world examples in healthcare, manufacturing, pharma, even customer service, they really bring it home. It's clear this isn't just some passing trend. It's a fundamental shift touching almost everything. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into this really dynamic landscape of quality.
Yeah, and maybe just one final thought to leave you with. As every industry goes deeper into digital, as you personally experience more of these personalized, data-driven interactions, perhaps the ultimate question isn't just what will quality look like in the future, but
Right.
maybe how will your own expectations of what quality even means fundamentally change? When everything is transparent, predictive, designed around you, what new higher standards we just naturally come to expect from everything that touches your life? It's a fascinating future to think about.
What new standards will you come to expect? That is definitely something to chew on, especially when you think about how quietly but how profoundly this whole digital revolution is reshaping our world. We'll catch you next time as we keep diving deep into the ideas that really matter.